sing in Chattanooga. Come and sing in Chattanooga on the Southern Railroad line. On the Southern Railroad line. Got up in the morning when my sleep was done, and I felt the cheery Chattanooga sun. Then I thanked the Lord above that I was still alive as I waited for the 6:05. Come and sing in Chattanooga. And it chugga-chuggaed in, and I said, there you are, as I scrambled in the old boxcar. Then I settled back, believing that the world was fine. I was traveling on the Southern line. Come and sing in Chattanooga.
What is your evidence against the Scottsboro boys?
My witnesses, Victoria Price and Ruby Bates.
Why are they reliable?
They are two hard-working white women who have nothing to benefit by lying.
And why did you choose to call Dr. Bridges to the stand?
He contributed his professional opinion, showing that it was possible for these 9 men to have gang raped both Victoria Price and Ruby Bates.
Why wasn't the credibility of Ruby Bates and Victoria Price questioned?
Clearly out of respect for the trauma that these two women have suffered.
Why was Victoria's testimony not questioned after being exposed by the ACLU of being a quiet prostitute?
For one, that investigation was conducted by a writer who merely set out to ruin the reputation of my client, Miss Price. Secondly, the sheriff who provided this information was known as the town drunk and was clearly just looking for attention.
At the end, what did you think of the little trick Leibowitz pulled on you near the end of his case, where he pulled a Ruby Bates as a witness for the defense?
His little trick was neat. I'll give him that. But this cunning snake doesn't always get his meal. Ruby Bates was clearly either lying now or lying 2 years ago when she came as a witness for me, the prosecution. So clearly she's an unreliable source, so her testimony wasn't even considered in the final judgment.
Thank you.
I told you. I was raped by them black boys.
And how many of them were there?
About 9, but 6 of them raped me.
Why were you riding the train that day?
I was looking for some work. I needed the money. Me and Ruby both.
What kind of work were you looking to find?
What are you implying?
Nothing, man. It was just a question. I don't need to get offensive.
Well, you need to not worry about that then. I was just going to find a job because I need the money.
Fine. Next question. Where did you previously work?
I worked at a cotton mill.
Is that where you met Ruby Bates?
Yes, we were co-workers.
What were you doing the night before the train ride?
The night before, I was packing.
But records show that you were released from jail.
You don't need to worry that none. I was still packing for my trip.
Did the rape you have weapons?
Yes. Yes, they did. Knives and guns.
But there was none on the train.
You think I'm lying? I told you they had knives and guns.
Did they say anything to you?
Yes. Yes, they did. When I put this in you and pull it out, you will have a Negro baby.
Do you know these men?
Who? Those Negroes? They raped me. They're filthy pigs.
But isn't it true that you're a quiet prostitute?
No? Jeez, who do you think I am?
Well, there you have it. Who are we really going to believe? A quiet prostitute or 9 innocent boys? We are here today to find out what really happened on March 25th when the Scottsboro boys were falsely accused of rape. Today we have Ruby Bates to hear what really happened. Is it true that you wrote a letter saying that you were lying?
Yes.
And who did you write this letter to?
My ex-boyfriend, Earl Streetman.
And what did it say?
It was explaining to him that I was very sorry about lying and that I hoped he'd forgive me, but that I lied throughout the entire case until the very end.
And why did you lie?
Victoria informed me that if we didn't lie, then we would go to jail.
And why did you believe her?
I didn't want to go to jail. I was afraid.
So why did you decide to write the letter?
I felt very, very guilty about lying and I needed to tell somebody. I thought I could trust him.
How long have you known Victoria Price?
A couple of years.
And where did you meet?
Well, we met when I first started working at the mill.
What person was Victoria Price?
She was not so decent.
And you?
Well, I'd like to think of myself as a decent girl.
Did you ever get into trouble after you met Victoria Price?
Once or twice.
Has Victoria Price ever made you lie for her
Yes.
before this?
Not that I can remember. Not before this.
And why did you lie?
She told me we were going to go to jail for a long time if I didn't.
So you wanted to put 9 innocent men behind bars instead?
Didn't really think of it that way at the time.
And what do you say now?
Now I say I'm very sorry to those boys and I wish I wouldn't have done it.
Thank you. What is your evidence for the Scottsboro boys?
There was unreliable facts. The doctors found no evidence of the girls being raped, and there was a letter found of Ruby's that was sent to her boyfriend stating that she was lying about it. She appeared as a witness for the defense, admitting to lying. She was changing her story the entire time.
What was your motive for taking this case?
The civil rights movement, and I only take cases I believe in, and I believe these boys were innocent. I don't determine anyone's fate dependent upon their race or their gender.
Why do you believe you were unable to change the jury's verdict?
They had their minds made up before they even came in. There was 12 white men who appeared as the jury. And then you have these 9 black boys.
Why are Victoria Price and Ruby Bates unreliable witnesses for the prosecution?
Because they're liars. They changed their story. It didn't match up to any of the evidence whatsoever.
Why didn't you question the credibility of Ruby Bates and Victoria Price?
Victoria Price was known as a quiet prostitute, was in and out of jail for different reasons, adultery being one of them, and then Ruby Bates was just her little follower.
What do you say about people who think you're allowing rapists get away for crimes?
I want them to put themselves in those boys' shoes. I want them to have no contact with their family, have no rights because of their race. And I want them to understand how they had to go through all this because some people wanted to lie and make up stories so that their fate is dependent upon these white boys who get to choose there. destiny. And how I would refer to them is, they're all bigots.
Mistakes were made in the first trial, and how did you try to fix them?
None of the boys were found not guilty, and they weren't allowed a closing remark. So, the defense wavered that they had a new trial.
How did these boys suffer because of the trials?
They were stripped of their freedom. They lost years of their life just because someone had lied. They were judged and discriminated constantly just because of their race.
Thank you.
Let's all go to the lobby. Let's all go to the lobby. Let's all go to the lobby to get ourselves a treat.
Try Loon's new weighted hula hoop, a guaranteed way to help you lose weight in a fun way. We are not responsible for any damage caused to consumers who purchase this product.
This hurts. It keeps going up really high. Nicole!
Happy peanuts soar over chocolate-covered mountaintops and waterfalls of caramel. Prancing nougat in the meadow sings a song of satisfaction to the world. The world.
Big Mac filet of fish, quarter pounder French fries, icy Coke, thick shake sundaes, and apple pie.
Big Mac McDLT, a quarter pounder with some cheese fillet, a fish, a hamburger, a cheeseburger, a Happy Meal, McNuggets, tasty golden French fries, regular or larger size, a salad, Shepherd Garden, or a chicken salad, Oriental, Big breakfast, egg McMuffin, hot cakes and sausage, maybe biscuits, bacon, egg and cheese, or sausage, Danish hash brown stew, and for dessert, hot apple pies and sundaes, 3 varieties of sausage, 3 kinds of shakes and chocolate, each of cookies, and a drink, a Coca-Cola, Diet Coke, an orange drink, a Sprite and coffee, decaf, 2, a low-fat milk, also an orange juice. I love McDonald's, good time, great taste, and I get this all at one place.
The morning when my sleep was done and I felt that cheery Chattanooga sun. Then I thanked the Lord above that I was still alive as I waited for the 6:05. Commencing in Chattanooga. Chugga, chugga, chugga. And it chugga-chuggaed in and I
Defense recognizes Ruby Bates. How long have you known Victoria Price?
I knew her for some time. We worked together in the mill.
How many years have you known her?
About 2.5, maybe 3.
When did you start hanging out with Miss Price?
After we started working at the mill.
Were you a good girl before you met her, a decent girl? We object.
Did you work in the mill before you knew her? Yes, sir. I met her there.
After you started hanging out with her, did you go around with her in Huntsville?
Yes, sir.
Were you ever convicted of a crime?
No, sir.
Were you never in jail?
No, sir.
Did you know a man by the name of Lester Carter?
Yes, sir.
Where was it you saw Victoria Price right after you met Lester Carter?
Well, Victoria and me went down to the chain gang where we met him and another fellow bus.
You met him at a chain gang?
Yes, sir.
You were with Victoria at the time.
Yes, sir.
Who was the man on the chain gang?
Jack Tiller.
Did you meet Lester Carter before you went in the freight train?
Yes, sir.
Do you also meet Victoria Price and Jack Tiller?
Yes, sir.
Where was the first place you met up with them when they got out of jail?
They came to the mill one afternoon where we were. It was a Monday. The Monday afternoon before we left the next day, on Tuesday.
What happened?
Well, Victoria, Jack, and myself, and Lester all left and walked walked up the Pulaski Pike.
That was at night, correct?
Yes, sir.
Did you have intercourse with Lester Carter that night?
I certainly did.
Did Victoria Price have intercourse with Jack Tiller?
She certainly did.
In your presence?
Yes, sir.
Didn't it start to rain that night, so you got in the boxcar?
Oh, yes, sir.
How long did you stay in that boxcar?
Stayed there the rest of the night.
With whom?
Lester Carter, Jack Tiller, and Victoria Price.
The next day, did you make an appointment to go out of town?
We made the appointment that night.
To go out of town?
Yes, sir.
On Tuesday.
Yes, sir.
Were you on the freight train with Lester Carter and Victoria Price?
Yes, sir.
Did you go to Chattanooga?
Yes, sir.
Did you spend the night at Kelly Brochi's in Chattanooga?
No, sir.
Are you sure?
Yes, sir.
Did you hear the name of Kelly Brochi?
Victoria Price.
Where did you hear the name of Kelly Brochi?
Victoria Price.
Where did you spend the night that night?
I think it's called Hobo Swamp.
Who was with you?
Orville Gilly, Victoria Price, and Lester Carter.
Were you there all night?
Yes, sir.
Was there fuss about some Negroes in the morning?
Yes, sir.
Tell us about that.
Well, there were two Negro men that passed where Victoria and I were. Lester Carter and this Gilly had stepped off somewheres. The two Negroes came by where we were, and we asked them what time did the freight leave, going out west. They said about 11:15.
Is that your best recollection?
Yes, sir.
But there was some fuss about it that almost led to a fight between Carter and that Negro.
Yes, sir.
That morning, did you start coming back to Huntsville on that freight train?
Yes, sir.
Who started back with you?
Orville Gilly, Lester Carter, and Victoria Price.
And you got on some freight train?
Yes, sir.
All of you.
Yes, sir.
When you got to Stevenson, did you get off or did you stay on?
Well, we got off and got in a gondola car.
Are you sure?
Yes, sir.
The four of you.
Yes, sir.
Tell these gentlemen of the jury what happened after that when you got in the car and when the train started out to Stevenson.
After the train started out of Stevenson, there was some white boys come in the end of the car next to where we were.
And what happened?
After a while, there was a bunch of Negroes who come over and started fighting. They was all fighting, and Lester Carter and this Gilly boy jumped over to help them out.
You mean Lester Carter and Gilly left the gondola in which you were in and went into the next gondola where the fight was between the white boys and the Negroes.
Yes, sir.
Then what happened?
The Negroes put all those boys off but one, Orville Gilly. He came back in the car where we were.
Then what happened? Did the Negroes come in the car where you were?
Not that I know of.
Did any Negro attack you that day?
Not that I know of.
Did any Negro attack Victoria that day?
No, sir.
Where's Victoria Price?
She was in the gondola net where I was.
When you got to Paint Rock, the train stopped, didn't it?
Yes, sir.
What happened when the train stopped?
Well, we got off the train, then Victoria was unconscious, and they carried her out there to a store.
Then what happened?
They arrested them.
Arrested all the Negroes?
Yes, sir.
They took you to Scottsboro.
Yes, sir.
Were you in jail with Victoria Price at Scottsboro?
Yes, sir.
Did you talk with her at Scottsboro?
Yes, sir.
You testified on the trial and you took the witness stand.
Yes, sir.
You told the story you had seen 6 Negroes rape Victoria Price and 6 Negroes raped you. And you told the story like that?
I told it before, but I was excited.
You testified at Scottsboro 6 Negroes raped you and 6 Negroes raped her. And one had a knife on your throat. What happened to her was exactly the same thing that happened to you. Who made you say that?
She told it, and I told it just like she told it.
Who told you to tell that story?
I told it like she told it.
Who told you to do that? Who made you do that?
She did.
Did she tell you that what would happen to you if you didn't follow her story?
She said we might have to lay out a sentence in jail.
Thank you.
Soon enough you're lost and thinking when I'm gonna go back home. Oh me, oh my, time goes slow. Where's it gone to? I don't know, but maybe times will turn.
No. Run away. Go away. Go away. Why are you doing this? Okay. Hold on. Michaela, I was laughing. Stop it. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
But isn't it true that you're a quiet prostitute?
Yes.
What did they say to you? I said,
Yes. Yes, they did. They said when I put this in you and I pull it out, you'll have a Negro baby.
I told you I was raped by them black boys.
scares me. I don't like this.
What? It's probably her outfit. She looks like a I'm so glad I'm trying to like. So look at his shoulders, dude. Okay, look. They're real. Let's get. Let's get the tracker away. What's so funny? Why are You got this. I'm just gonna keep playing my game. Me too. What happened on March 25th? I was raped by some black boys. How many of them were there? About 9. But 6 of them raped me. Why were you riding the train? I was going to get a job. And what kind of work were you looking to find? What are you applying? I messed up.
Court files say you were released.
Why are you trying to investigate me?
Is they released from jail? What does that make any sense? Okay. But there was no found on the train.
You think I'm lying? Think I'm stupid?